Welcome back to the Creator Era podcast. I'm Tanja Subotic, and today we're going to dive deep into finding the light in the wound. The wound is the place where the light enters. Rumi's words are not just poetry, they are a map to understanding something very deep and profound, because every wound, every heartbreak, every sickness, challenge, and encounter is not simply there for you to suffer. It is a calling for initiation. And pain is not by accident. Pain is never meaningless, and pain is never, ever your enemy. Pain is a catalyst, a true companion, and sometimes it will stay with us relentlessly until we finally stop running away from it and listen to what it has to say to us. It is the deepest, most intelligent part of us speaking. And until we surrender to this transformation of understanding, it will cause havoc and torment. And yet when I look at humanity, my heart breaks at the sheer weight of pain that so many of us are carrying. The pain of bodies that are sick and exhausted, worn out. The pain in the hearts that are heavy with loneliness and so much grief. The pain in our relationships, cracked by judgment, disconnection, betrayal, mistrust, and heartbreak. So much of our world is built on pain. It's unbelievable. Why? Why the pain? Why not love? Pain arrives because we have strayed from something so true, so real, from our essence, because somewhere along the way, we have forgot how to live in love because we simply don't know love within. And this is a reflection on our external life. And pain arrives to awaken us, to shake us up, to remind us that something is out of harmony. In harmony, we thrive. Pain does not offer harmony. It offers chaos. And the only way to meet it is with compassion, open heart, and non-judgment. We have to meet pain with love. The paradox. But too often we do the opposite. We mask our wounds with protection. We hurt others in the way we love them, making our love conditional. You are never enough. I am never enough. Will we ever be enough? We numb ourselves, we numb our pain, and we silence it. I know this very intimately in my own life, and not only in how I was treated, but in sometimes in the mistakes that we have made upon others. And it's simply a disconnect that happens within. For years, I lived inflicted in my own pain, not with violence as we would normally think of self-inflicted pain, but with rejection, with the constant inner chorus. I am never enough. I will never heal. I'm never beautiful enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. I will always be sick. Maybe I'm meant to suffer in this life. I will never have what that other person has. That was violence. My cells felt that, my DNA absorbed it, my body materialized, metabolized it, and I began to wither away under the weight of that inner story. And then came the outer rejection that followed my inner narrative. And when I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease, at that time, it was barely known. It wasn't something that was prevalently talked about. Autoimmune disease was completely dismissed in my time. And doctors told me that I was living in my head, and that I should stop talking about things like parasite and stop asking questions of the unknown. I was told to stay quiet and to accept their denial as my own truth. I had nowhere to go at that point. And that very system, that very construct is what shut the door to the material world that I was depending on and made me go inward. It was my breakthrough. And I went inward, I went underground, and I went deep. And for a while, it was a different path of desperation. And the chase was different, but I was still chasing. I was still chasing definition. I was still trying to define everything about myself. And I had defined myself as sick, as Lyme, as autoimmune, as cancer, as my brain tumor. And each new label that I constantly placed upon myself concluded an identity that was suffering me, stifling me. And I fell out of control in that spiral. But the more I defined myself by my sickness, the more it consumed me. It grew and grew until it consumed every part of my life. And then one of those grace-filled moments in my deepest pleas, my son looked at me and broke that narrative. He said to me, the more you keep telling yourself, Mommy, that you're sick, the more you keep Googling what sickness you have now, you will confirm to the universe that you are extremely sick, and the universe will continue to give you scenarios in life that keep you sick. He was 8, blew my mind away, but he cracked me open like no other. And I realized that I was watering my soul in the wrong soil. And ultimately, pain became my teacher. Those words were my turning point. But then I had to come face to face with pain and the sickness that I was plagued with. And I began to see it not as a punishment, but as a great and dear teacher. Fatigue wasn't a weakness. It was my body saying, you're leaking energy and you need to get it together and you need to come back into your essence because you are way off track. Pain wasn't betrayal anymore. It was my soul crying. Something has to wake up. Walk away from the false narrative and identity because you are going to wilt away. And initiation was me coming online to understand that the pain wasn't the end. The pain was the beginning. The suffering was a call and a key to my awakening. And I began to strip away the illusions. And I began to ask, who am I without this wound? Who am I beyond the pain? Who am I without this narrative? I had no idea who I was anymore. I lost myself completely. And I discovered a new way to connect with myself through my son, who said, Mommy, don't Google, go play at the beach. You're an artist, go paint. Instead of going for another IV, go and get a massage. I began to pivot my narrative and my reality started to change. I stopped feeling less pain in my body. I stopped being more reactive. I began to kind of move into a rhythm, a dance with life, a dance with myself that I didn't know how to dance. And it's the same with the nature around us. Nature has an intelligence to foster its growth and to live under circumstances that nourish itself. Like trees, they shed their leaves, not because they're dying, but because they're repairing for renewal and a rebirth for a new season. And until we come online to have a deeper understanding of this complete innate genius, it will be painful. And compost, the decay becomes nourishment in a new season. And when we can look at what has been ultimately killing off the old of us, and it's used for the compost for the soul to break through what is no longer serving us, to allow the light to nourish every wound, it will carry through and reveal our hidden gifts. And this is our biology. This is our inner genius. This is what we came here designed to do without the interference of this monkey mind, really. And healing is not about fixing what is broken, I realized. I realized that healing is a deep remembering that you were never, ever broken in the first place. Healing is a remembering that you are completely alive and divine, and that the same genius that births forests, guides rivers, orchestrates seasons, spins galaxies into existence, births and rebirths consistently through the seasons, like incredible, miraculous events happening daily, lives within each of us. And that genius is our life force. It is the miracle. It is unbreakable. It's there every moment, and we need to return to it. And when we return to love, because love is the root, the soil, the current that sustains all creation, that genius awakens. The light illuminates that genius, and love reorganizes our biology. Love rewrites the narrative in our dialogue. Love creates the vortex of divinity, the power where true healing happens. Love is healed. There's no more healing when you're so content in that knowing. And pain becomes a point where the light enters and that perspective shifts, and pain will break you open. And the life is the force that restores the light, the love is the force that will restore this pain. And the greatest question of all, how do we expand the vessel to receive, to heal? How do we come into this knowing? Listen to the pain. Don't numb it. Don't run away from it. Ask it. Literally have a conversation with your intelligence. What are you here trying to reveal to me? What must I walk away from? What truth am I avoiding? Pain becomes a guide when we treat it as a language instead of a curse, as a teacher instead of the enemy. Shift the story. Words are seeds. For years, I repeated, I am sick, I am broken, I am sick, I might die. But when I started whispering instead, I am healing, I am love, I'm powerful, I'm divine, I have some sort of a genius I might not understand, but boy, I'm ready to trust that because I think that is going to work out better than this dismantling that I'm living. Life changes, and love is not a theory, it's an embodiment. It is the way that we breathe, the way we rest, the way we speak to yourself, the way you honor your body's signals when you're rooted in it. And love is the soil where all light, growth, and blossoming will always take root. And prayer was a catalyst for me. Prayer, not in the sense of asking, but prayer as a point of communicating, a point of returning to that inner genius. The communication of surrendering to something greater than what you believe you know, to the extraordinary that creates all of life around you. It is a surrendering where you stop abandoning yourself for the external and come inward, and you ask your heart before you ask anything else around you. Ask your soul before you ask the world. This is the intimacy with yourself that is the foundation for healing, and it's the most profound relationship and love that you can ever come across. And another catalyst was finding passion. Turn into the passion. Passion is the pulse where the soul exists. And when you're in an expression, the light will flow through you. You widen your vessel to hold the joy, the energy, and purpose living within your soul. It gives you purpose to live. Passion is the expression that you came here to live through, and whatever your medium is, it is the muse in which you communicate. You let yourself dream freely beyond logic. Picture yourself whole, radiant, and alive, and imagination prepares you to hold realities that you don't even know exist. That became exciting to me. I was so much more interested in that narrative than I'm sick and like, what disease do I have today and what are my symptoms? I was so interested in getting to know the unknown that it consumed me, and the unknown started to write a new narrative for me. And I began to realize that the soul never abandoned me. I abandoned my soul. And until I came into that deep relationship with myself through love, through prayer, through connection, through channeling my unique expression, the floodgates open, and I met a part of myself that broke down every single belief system that I had been living on as that sick person. And I stopped rejecting myself. The heartbreak stopped. The confusion stopped. The level of certainty that I live with now is undeniable. And every challenge that still shows itself is a doorway inside that inner mansion. And I look forward to retrieving those keys every single day. And I see the challenge as an initiation to unfolding that inner genius. I look forward to the initiations of challenges to saying, what part of me am I going to reveal tomorrow through this? What part of me is waiting on the other side that I haven't met yet? I want to meet that person. I want to meet that version of me, because in that version of me, I can bring through something I don't have yet, something that will fulfill me beyond any material, any possession, because I know that that's coming from a place of certainty, of love and essence. And that is really what I define as a miracle. And I think that life is all about the adventure of unraveling and witnessing the miracle in every single moment, not in these grand moments. And I studied the sages, I studied the geniuses, I studied the saints, I studied every sacred doctrine almost known to mankind. And I always looked for the genius. I looked for the miracle moments because I was desperate to find them in myself. And then when I came in tune with that part of myself, I realized that it was there alive in every single moment. And it was just the light allowing to illuminate itself. And that darkness is a combustion of light waiting to land in a vessel prepared to hold the light. Because you can have the light. Are you able to hold what comes with it? Because the magic will come. but it's a weight in itself and it's profound. But there's a purity that has to happen to withhold such light, to come through as a clear conduit in a channel for the unknown, for the miracle, for the magic. And this is what healing is all about. And this is what some of the greatest stories in life have ever told. Those stories that keep us captivated in awe is that person that became the vessel to hold the extraordinary. And this is what, again, I go back to standing in our own creator era is all about, because we are all able to come into that. And it's just about trusting, learning, and discovering that part of us that we don't maybe know yet, but it's there. And that part of us is waiting to unfold. That's called destiny. And everything that we imagine, everything we dream, everything we desire, everything we yearn for is written in our destiny. Otherwise, you would not be experiencing it. The vessel is just waiting and asking for you to prepare a way to receive the light that will unveil through your code essence. This is a project that I've been working on called Code Essence, where the coding in your essence will be revealed the more you make way with the light, and it will reveal to you the destiny that you have always held within you as a seed. Like I say, I always go back to the tree and to nature because it astonishes me. It brings me to so much humility. Nature, the seed, knows and how to unfold its entire destiny as this magnificent creature in a forest rooted into an entire intelligent ecosystem on its own. The destiny is there. We need to get out of the way and to hold ourselves in the right environment. The right environment is love, trust, patience, and acceptance, and nourish ourselves and the environment, and all will come through you, and you become the center point for your destiny.
Thank you for being here with me in the creator era. I am truly grateful for your presence. I believe that the beauty of being human is that we get to grow through one another. Each of us serves as a mirror for our own and each other's evolution. In the power of community and connection, we remember our own shared humanity, and in that remembrance, we find it within ourselves. If today's conversation truly resonated, I invite you to share it, to connect to it, and to communicate, and to continue to explore this adventure of life on a deeper level. Until next time, hold the intention to create, keep evolving with great wonder, and keep living the miracle that you already are.